It's been about 6 kilometers walk from Ikeja Underbridge right to the State House of Assembly just right behind me. And while all the protesters and human rights activists were gathered just over there where the Commissioner of Police is standing, if you can actually see that, they were all gathered, they're seated on the floor and just having a conversation with themselves, and the normal thing, the Aluta continuous stuff. And that's about 20 minutes into that conversation, several canisters were fired into the air, and which got a lot of persons running helter skelter. So let me just show you some tips just behind me, just very quickly. Look at some persons leaving their clothing behind and shoes on the floor behind, all scampered for safety. Some of them actually got themselves injured while running, because there were so many, hundreds of them in number. So you can imagine the kind of chaotic scene you would have seen, because it was so shocking. I mean, some persons were, while seated under the tree, just saw that canisters just fired as close as possible, and a lot of them inhaled it. I was actually in that crossfire as well. I don't know. So, I mean, it's quite shocking. The Commissioner of Police is here. Let me just walk up to him and let me ask him some very genuine questions as to why the police had to do that.
Not now.
They would like to ask questions as to why.
Okay, no.
The Commissioner of Police, we want to know, because I understand the protesters were gathered seated here and doing the normal thing they normally do. Could you tell us why all of a sudden there was, that several canisters fired into the air and dispersing the entire protesters?
No, thank you so much. When I came in here, I don't work on sentiment. They assemble at under the bridge in Ikeja, and we give them enough protection to get to this venue. This to ensure that hoodlum and miscreant don't hijack this protest. And I advanced to this venue to wait for them. And they came, and I started talking to them on the need to ensure that we're peaceful. This is a public highway. Your right stops where that of other people begins. So we can't allow this highway to be blocked to traffic. So, and I asked them to stay in one place. That is not the fighting issue anyway, but it's important for people to know that I was abused. People were thrown on me. I endured that and stepped aside. I called on the leadership of the House of Assembly. Then I came to address them. And they addressed them, they refused to listen on the need to be law-abiding with what they are doing. Protest, if it's peaceful, is permitted. But where you use protest to block the public highway, you can see yourself when you capture them, they were seated on the public highway, which is a danger to even the life of the people that come and protest. And I cannot allow, under my watch, where oncoming vehicle will run on protesters. And that is why we have to equally, after the House of Assembly member, about 4 of them in number, come to address them and told them their messages will be passed to the leadership of their house, and appropriate things will be done in that regard.
Commissioner of Police, you are aware?
Okay. They still refuse to disperse. So, and I came and warned them to leave the public highway so that people can have access to the public highway. They were pushing my policemen back. Some of them were falling down, were pushed, and they fell down on their rifle. But we still resist the temptation of using any firearms. So we use the minimum force that is expected of us, which is the Teargas smoke, to disperse them, so that the other Nigerians, millions of other Nigerians that use this public highway, can have access to the public highway and to have access to their offices. Mind you, today is a work day, and various people are locked up in their offices. They have caused a lot of inconveniences from Ikeja Underbridge down to this place, and they refuse to listen to the word of caution. Thank you. Madam, please.
Oh, well, Onyinye, that's the Commissioner of Police, Olarinda Regimo, telling us why he had to disperse the protesters. Now, one of the major reasons why he said he did that with he said the protesters were, on the major road, not allowing commuters to go about their business, having especially spoken to them to stay away from the road and have their own protest or whatever it is, but not having to block the main road. for movement, ease of movement, and all of that. So this was one of the many reasons, basically, aside from the fact that yes, he said it was pebbled, his officers were manhandled or assaulted, and he said he was even insulted as well too. So probably he had enough of that, and then he had to tell them to go away. And the only way he could do that, the only minimal force to use to do that was to use canisters on them. Like I said, you saw wrappers on the floor, you saw some shoes, clippers on the floor, and all of that. They've all scampered for safety, while some of them, I did actually see that got themselves injured along the line. But that's just basically what is going on.
What is their status at the moment? Victor, can you hear me? Please, can you tell us how the protesters have reacted to this? What is their status at the moment?
Well, at the moment, we've not seen anyone around. They've all left the scene. Apparently, somewhere close, probably if we leave this area. So the only people you can see around me are police officers, stuck around, ensuring that there are no protesters on ground, So I don't know if you can talk to Jamie. Can you talk to us very quickly? I don't know.
Yeah, what do you understand?
Jamie,
That's
hi.
why I stayed.
It's okay. I didn't know you were actually around me. How did all of this get to you, and how do you react to issues like this?
I mean, I don't know what the Commissioner of Police said when he spoke, but I stayed so I could explain what I saw. I came late, and by the time I got here, Comrade Soweto was addressing the crowd. They wanted a group of them to go in, and they said no, that they all want to go in because it affects all of them. So they sent 4 of them out to address them, and they said no, that they want to go in, and they promised that they will be orderly and they'll be quiet. The House of Assembly members went in, and Comrade Soweto said, you know what, since they don't want to answer us, let us all sit here, since we're homeless anyway. Everybody sits on the floor, we will share water and we'll share gala. So any claim that it was riotous, any claim that they were disrupting anything, it is false. Number 2, when I was coming, I came down that road, the police themselves had blocked this lane. The only lane on this thoroughfare that was open was that one. So any claim that it was protesters that blocked this lane is also false, because they had blocked it from the ShopRite end. So if you have already blocked it from the ShopRite end, and you've made this place, in a sense, an open space, you have not allowed people to go in where there is space, where else do you want them to stand? You've made them all homeless anyway. So really though, where do you want them to stand would be my question. So they decided, what Comrade Soweto then announced was, everybody sit down. Anytime in a protest where you allow people to sit down, the propensity to be able to do any damage is less, because you are immobile when you're seated, and that's the whole idea. Sit down and let's wait. And that's when they started shooting tear gas. You
did hear when he said they used minimal force by firing canisters.
Canisters is not minimal force. When people have to run because their eyes are watering, their throats are hurting, people are carrying babies, people had children. Let's not forget the context. The context is that their homes have been destroyed. So people came with everything, with children. So how is firing tear gas minimal force? When tear gas affects your eyes, affects your ability to speak, and then everybody then scatters. And then you said nobody should move. I mean, if you look around, you see people's shoes, people that were selling things, the things are here, people's wrappers were here. I mean, and I saw a woman carrying a baby. It's not they told me. I saw her running with a baby. Look, the point of this thing is Lagos is acting illegally. And they're then using police force to try and keep people from not speaking up about what is affecting them. It is absolutely ridiculous, in my view, just ridiculous. And they say Commissioner of Police is telling me I cannot afford to allow them to block a public fairway. I cannot allow you to destroy people's homes and make them homeless. Are we all mad in this country? Thank you.
Well, that's much we can. I mean, I don't know. I'm speechless. Honestly, I'm speechless. My eyes are hurting, to be honest, and I don't know what else. All my body is so badly. But that's the situation. We are still here. The police are here to cordon off the entire area to ensure that protesters do not get access into the State Assembly any longer. So that's it.
All right, quickly, please, before we let you go, Victor, can you reel out what was said to the protesters by the commissioner before the police intervened?
Yeah, could you please take that again?
All right, I would love you to tell us, keep us up to speed with what was said to the protesters by the commissioner before the police intervened.
Well, I have to be honest. I'm not sure there was any conversation between both parties. Although earlier on, the Commissioner of Police met the protesters this morning at Teargas under bridge, you know, talking to them about orderliness and all of that. I mean, so that they wouldn't have to block major highways just for the free flow of traffic and all of that. But you didn't hear what Yemi said. When they all got here, the organizers, Soweto precisely, told all of them to sit down so that I mean, the entire place would be look a little orderly, and so they could have control over the crowd. And of course, the police, of course, had their vehicles, you know, blocking these areas to ensure that, whatever reasons, I don't know, but Commissioner of Police coming out, they say that they were causing nuisance on this stretch of the road is what I really did not understand. I mean, I didn't see where he had any conversation to tell them to leave. Basically, I didn't see that. All that we saw were canisters fired into the air, you know, hitting people in different, you know, corners of these vicinities. So I don't know. It's really confusing why all of that had to happen, honestly.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Victor Mbadike. Of course, he's our correspondent who is following situations over there at Alausa.